Hey, Autumn Athletes, Larry Sorensen here once again. And today we're going to sit down and have a chat with Damien Leake, find out what makes him an Autumn athlete. That's not done yet. Damien, thanks so much for joining us today. Why don't you start us off with telling us your bio basics?
I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I ended up going to the High School of Performing Arts, and that's what thwarted my athletic activities early on in my life. And I didn't start competing again until I came out here to California, which was in 1997, and started coaching kids for track and field. And as a result of my coaching kids, I was led to masters athletics and started competing in what was it, 2000, something like that, 2001.
How about family and career, etc.?
I'm one of six children. My parents had six children, three of which had left us since then. My mother and father, as I say, from the Bronx. My father, he built a house in the Northeast Bronx, which is an area known as the Valley now. And none of the others ever went into athletics. No.
Tell us a little bit about your fitness background.
It wasn't anything formal or technical. I essentially, as most kids, was running and playing and doing what I do. And I grew up in an area which we didn't even really have a basketball court until I was like 13 or 14 in the area. And so I started playing, but I ran track in junior high school because that was all that was really available to us. There were no teams or any kind of programs that allowed us to do that. But that was always my dream to go into the Olympic Games. I was hoping to go into the 1972, maybe 76 games. Mm-hmm. But I ended up going, as I said, to the wrong high school, so I didn't get prepared for that, and thought my athletic career essentially was over by the time I was in my young 20s. I thought I don't really have a shot at it. So because I started working out of high school.
You really didn't get started with your athletics until the senior.
That's right.
Started coming around.
That's essentially it. Right.
Okay. So did you have any setbacks along the way? Particularly since you started the senior competitions?
Just the injuries that one ends up accumulating through the years. I ended up, what recently passed was the nationals, and I got hurt in the 100-meter finals. I just pulled a hamstring in the 100-meter finals. It's just now recovering. I'm into my third week of recovery.
Okay.
So I didn't end up. I was supposed to run the 1, the 2. I was supposed to long jump. Was going to do a relay, but as I say, the 100 finals was first and got hurt in the first event. So. And that was it. And as soon as the hamstring pulled, after you've been doing it for a while, you know what it feels like and you know what it's about. And you know that I'm done for this meet. This is not happening, Right. So other than that, the regular, soreness and knee issues and what have you, but no real major setbacks. Other than I did tear my patella tendon when I was younger. Okay. And that really set me back for a while. So it took me a while of rehabbing and getting that right.
And for our audience out there, the patella tendon is, if you look at kind of your kneecap and down right in front of your kneecap that goes down, it's often called a jumper's knee, problem. Yes. For folks that volleyball players, basketball players, that type of stuff. But I've never heard of anybody actually tearing it. It's usually like an inflammation and so forth.
No,
so
it was a tear.
That's pretty serious.
The funny thing is, you immediately feel your body goes into shock, so you don't really feel pain. Mm-hmm. And then it's as if your body says, hold on, the pain is going to come. You just have to wait. I got to prepare you for this.
I know that feeling. I've been there a couple of times where it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt. And then all of a sudden, oh, yeah, it does hurt.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So. All right. So I know you mentioned, a couple of weeks ago in nationals and you didn't have the meet that you were hoping for, but I know you have some spectacular achievements that you have accomplished. So why don't you give us some highlights from your athletic career and some of the achievements that you have acquired?
Well, the first time was when at the 60 in the 65 group, when I broke the world record in Grass Valley in California, and I broke the world record for the 100 meters for the 65-year-olds. And I was really ready for that because I had worked hard and had planned, and so, oh, I have a shot at this. But this year I've had a very good year in that I broke the indoor record for the 60 meters. I wasn't really sure or that I was going to be able to do it. I thought I'm in pretty good shape, but I wasn't sure. I thought I had a shot at it, but I wasn't sure. And then when I broke the outdoor record in what was that, May,
Mhm.
for the 100 meters for the 70-year-olds,
And what was your time?
12:59. The
Well,
record had been 12:77. Oh, and the guy who had held the record came up to me at nationals, and by the way, he said, "I'm the guy who broke the record. He held it for 18 years." He was pleased and a little disappointed, but
sure. You know, you gotta, records are made to be broken, right? So
that's what they're
eventually,
for. That's right.
but that's pretty cool that he was still around. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
that's
nice.
nice. So obviously you've got a little injury that you're dealing with now. Do you have any plans for any more races this year?
As I heal, I'm planning to do the Huntsman Games in October. That's I hope I'll be in condition to be able to do that. That's my plan, and then after that, it's apple pie season. After that, I'm off until the holidays are done.
Sure, absolutely. So notwithstanding the last couple of weeks, why don't you give us an idea of your training regimen?
I try and train. I try and run 4 days a week if I can, and I also try and do my the workouts in my gym, or mostly calisthenics and some weights and a lot of different equipment and stuff that you use to try and get yourself in shape. But basically, it's running. I mostly work out at CSUN, California State University at Northridge, which has a wonderful track there if you can get on it. And in the north end, they have trees that kind of sit on an angle at the top of a hill. So one of my workouts, and I give it to my kids that I coach, is to run around the trees, basically as a warm up for them. But for me, I know it's my yardstick as to when I'm in some kind of decent shape.
Okay.
Which is, I know when I start out after apple pie season, when I start out, if I can do 2 rounds, there are 10 trees on the north end, as I say. If I can do 2 rounds, it's kind of like I'm winded and I have to get myself ready. Once I can do 10 times, I know I'm in good shape.
That sounds like a Rocky training thing or something.
Yeah, it kind of is. But it's really great. It's a wonderful, because it's really like a little mini cross country workout.
Yeah.
So because you're going up and around the tree back to the track and up and around, it's kind of like
Yeah.
slalom. It's really,
Yeah.
it really gets you in good shape.
So what would you say is your favorite training exercise, or is that it?
That's probably it. And I make sure I'm very conscientious about doing push-ups all the time. I do push-ups every night. I give myself 6 nights a week. I get 1 night off, but I do push-ups all the time. And the idea is to work on, because it's a great core strength exercise.
Right.
And I'm very much into trying to strengthen my core. So I do a lot of push-ups and sit-ups and leg lifts and those kind of things that work the core.
Okay.
And then I do the leg exercises, which are squats and lunges and stuff like that there.
So what's your approach to diet and nutrition?
I like to eat. My wife is over here making faces about this, but I try not to be too strict with that. Because I don't want to torture myself, and that'd be very hard. So I try not to be too strict with it. There's no real restrictions on the diet. I cut down on sugar, as she's been cajoling me to do. And I have a vitamin regimen that she has put me on, essentially, that's built on my own DNA. It's something that I suggest everybody look into a little bit, because you take your DNA and essentially the vitamins are set for you specifically, and they tell you about your what's from your history and what you should be having and what you shouldn't be having.
Okay.
So that works very well for me, and I've ended up losing a lot of weight. I was saying before that I used to think that my fighting weight was about 179, 180.
Mhm.
But now I've been essentially running lately at about 170, 171.
Okay.
And it works very well because I've been able to maintain my strength, and yet I'm considerably lighter. So,
So you mentioned apple pie season. What
yeah,
is your cheat meal or go-to dessert?
no, it's apple pie when when I can get it. She makes a good apple pie. But yeah, I've cut down on a lot of desserts. As you get older, you kind of have to make some sort of adaptation for that.
Right.
So I've cut down. I used to, I'm a big German chocolate cake guy. But I only get one German chocolate cake a year. That's it,
Oh,
whereas it used to be, regularly.
yeah.
It's those kinds of things. I'm a, brownies and cookies guy. I don't know more cookies. I haven't had cookies in a while.
So at age 70, what keeps you going? What motivates you?
Well, one, I enjoy it so much. And I enjoy the meets and the camaraderie at the meets, and it's really built essentially a community for us, for older people who used to compete and feel like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I have a lot of my friends and homeboys, as it were, who've gotten, their bodies have gotten away from them, and they kind of, oh, I'd like to do it, but my knees and my back and that kind of thing. And the idea of that happening to me is just abhorrent. I can't I can't allow that.
Sure.
So if it hurts, I'll let it heal, but then get back to work.
So if you could do anything differently regarding your health and fitness career, as it were, what would you have done?
Started sooner. The problem was that because I was doing a lot of theater when I came out of high school, and I started doing a lot of theater. The problem is that theater and track and field, that's a bad combination. It does, because you have Saturday and Sunday matinees, and that's when usually meets are and that kind of thing. So what I did was I was into staying in shape, and you have to stay in shape as an actor. You need it's your instrument, as they tell you, and
Right.
you need to be working for you. But I wasn't about being competitive or being in top shape.
Yeah.
It's just stay in shape and maintain yourself. But I would have probably tried to start doing it sooner, because once I got into film and TV more and started doing more film and TV, it allowed me to do that. Allowed me to run in meets, which I didn't discover until I was 50, in the mid 50s.
Right.
So
Right. So tell us, if you could kind of encapsulate it, what's your secret sauce to being healthy and fit?
consistency and my wife.
Okay.
It's consistency mainly. You know, uh, not to let yourself get away from yourself. Once you start to, and that's the thing, because as I said, I have friends who talk to me about it all the time, and I'll say, well, give me 10 minutes before you go to bed, just something. Give me a little something every night. And as long as you're prepared to give me a little something, give me a little exercise, give me some push-ups, give me some sit-ups, give me some squats, give me some something every night. 10 minutes, that's all you need. Get going, because the problem is, the hardest part is the getting going.
Right.
Once you're rolling, and as you say, your body starts to demand it, more or less. It starts to say, listen, I gotta, we gotta get out here and do some exercise. We gotta work at this.
Mhm.
And it's not so hard, but the getting going, it's the getting off the couch, man.
Yeah.
Get up off the sofa, get up off the chair, and get out there and do a little something, a little something, you
Right.
know. Don't,
Exactly.
walk, go for a walk at first, if you need to. Go for a little jog, ride a bicycle, something,
Yeah.
you know. That's really kind of what you need to do to get going.
You obviously have taken care of yourself, but you're giving back as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the coaching that you're doing.
That's where it started for me. When I came out to California, and I was looking for a place to work out, and I found CSUN, and I saw some kids there. And I was like, oh, what are these kids doing? Well, they're training for the Junior Olympics. And I was, oh man, well, do you need coaches? And they were like, oh yeah, come help us, come join. And I started coaching, and that was the thing. And it literally has changed my life. It's changed my perspective on damn near everything, because there is nothing like the look on a kid's face when they are able to do well, and they're able to do better than they had anticipated, and they get excited and you get excited, and there's nothing more exciting than that to me. And so my kids have become like, oh, damn near the center of my life,
Yeah.
because I've coached, it's got to be, I don't know, 300, 400, 500 kids now, in the course of the last 15, 20 years, whatever it's been. And to see them do well, and the smiles and the looks on their faces, there's nothing that compares with that. There's absolutely nothing that compares. You know, they get so excited and they do well, and they're going to the Junior Olympics, or they're going to the this, and they've just done a personal best, and oh my God,
Yep.
it makes me emotional. It gets me excited. What can I tell you? I just love it, and I love them.
Yeah, I agree. I feel the same way. I love to compete still at things myself, but there's nothing quite like coaching young folks and seeing them
Nothing like it.
do well. So I
Oh
can
yeah.
definitely appreciate that.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Damien, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with us a little bit. Let us know what makes you an autumn athlete that's not done yet. I'm just going to finish up here by giving you the floor to offer any last final words or thoughts to our audience.
The main thing is, as I say, a lot of people who are reluctant to get started, or haven't done it in a while, and haven't done it in 30 years, or whatever it is, I would encourage any and everybody to do a little something and get out there and try it. Whatever you did as a kid, you played basketball, and now I think that pickleball is the new thing where everybody's, yeah, play pickleball. I've never played pickleball, but okay, whatever it is, if you played basketball, or you play softball, you play, whatever you did as a kid, you can still do. And I cannot encourage you enough to get out there and give it a shot. Go for it, make it happen, get after it. That's all I can say. And I think that your life will change considerably if you've not been doing it. But for all of those who do it, they can tell you. If you have friends who do it, get into it, and coach. If you know a little something, coach. I cannot, again, encourage that enough. Coach some kids. It'll change your perspective on everything in your world.
Well, that's great advice once again from another autumn athlete that's not done yet. Damien Leake, everyone. Thank you so much again, Damien. Autumn athletes, please remember to like, subscribe, ding that bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.
All right.